Well, first of all, everybody, I recognize that this was the last minute, and I really appreciate the fact that you took the time to get here. So I thank you for that. By now, everybody know kind of what's going on. So by now, you know that I'm going to take a medical sabbatical. So I think I have never ducked a question from you ever in the 5 years that I've been here. I'm not going to duck that now. So I'm going to talk for a little while and kind of explain exactly what I think the situation is, and then whatever questions you have, I'm going to ask. I'm going to answer for you. Okay. So first, let me begin exactly with kind of what's going on. So I have serious asthmatic inflammation in my lungs that was fostered by allergies. Now, the problem is that the longer you have that, the more serious your situation becomes. So on a bad day, it's not uncommon for me to be like spitting little phlegm balls that are like the size of a nickel, and that could happen 100 times a day. In a good day, I got a little phlegm, and not the end of the world, but it kind of goes hot and cold. The concern is this. The way this actually works is that the lung is one part of the body. Now, a lot of this, by the way, is not in the press release. I'm just giving you everything that I have. The lung is one part of the body that does not regenerate. So what that means is, by the way, I don't know what the numbers are, but make believe that the circumference of my lung is 2 inches. I don't know what it is. Well, the inflammation causes it to restrict. So now let's say it's 1.8. Now, when everything gets healed up, because it doesn't regenerate, it will never go back to 2.0. I am at 1.8, and I'll be at 1.8 forever if it's healed up. If it doesn't get healed up, it's going to continue to restrict. And it could get to the point where, over a period of time, I run a very serious risk of, not tomorrow, not next year, but 7 years, 5 years, 10 years, between 5 and 10 years down the road, to have a very, very serious breathing problem where I would live with an oxygen tank, something along those lines. Now, the way this works is I have the doctors that have been involved with this for me, and kind of the lead guy is the guy that I know for 15 years, my primary guy in Omaha, who's really a research guy, which was great in this thing. I've had this for 3 years. And the first year or so, I just was a nuisance. And it kind of got a little worse. Then I said, fine, we got to check this out. And by the time we got it checked out, this is what was going on. Now, the doctors made it clear that had I taken care of this in the first 3 months or so, antibiotics would have fixed it, you would have been fine. So therefore, I also asked this, what happens if we get this fixed? What happens then? If you get it fixed, you're in good shape, you're good. And if it comes back, you'll know right away, we take care of antibiotics right away, you're good. But the problem is you have let it go too long, and it kind of breeds on itself, and it kind of keeps going. Now, I'm going to give you, I'm not trying to be a scientist, but let me give you kind of a little bit of a feel for this. Yeah, we have red cells, red and white blood cells. Okay, the white blood cells are the cells that are the ones that kind of fight off bacteria, kind of protect your immune system. Well, each cell has subcells. One of the subcells in the white cell is eosinophilia cells. Eosinophilia cells are the ones that react negatively to allergies. Over a 3-year period, they have been crushed by the allergies, and they're going bananas. Now, the white cells that's supposed to protect the rest of the body are attacking the eosinophilia cells, but they're not doing a great job against them, and that weakens them to take care of the rest of the body. That's how, as it gets worse, it doesn't just get from here to here. It starts to geometrically gets worse, let's say, over a period of time. So the answer, because we've been doing everything, the doctors are confident, and I believe that. The doctors have done everything they can be, but I brought it to them late. So the only thing that solves this is you got to take a major break. You got to take a major break. Well, you know, tomorrow's the first day of practice, and I've been having a lot of difficulty with that. Now, I did share with Dr. DeCenzo that this is going on, and I shared this with the staff that this was going on. Now, I wasn't talking about taking a major break, but in the meantime, I was having tests and different things done over the summertime. So my last series of tests, about a week or two ago, something along those lines, and the bottom line is this, that I'm thinking, you know, I feel strong, I feel good. By the way, anybody notice I'm in pretty good shape now? I've gotten in pretty good shape. Anybody notice that? Okay, I got myself in good shape. I feel good. I feel strong. I'm working out all those things. And they say, but when you think that way, you're kind of missing the boat. Because you feel good, you think you're okay, and therefore, yeah, I don't need to take a break. It's not now you need to worry about. It's 5 or 10 years from now you need to worry about. And if you don't do something about this, you will 100% wind up having a problem later on. So don't think you're tough enough to handle this. Ask yourself this question. What do you want to do the rest of your life? What are you going to do if most of the rest of your life you really, truly are not able to breathe and you have to live with an oxygen tank or maybe worse than that? So I'm a pretty passionate, emotional guy. I think by now most of you know that. But one of the things that has served me very, very well in my adult life is almost every important decision I make, my intellect has a 51% vote. So in this case, it was, I have to make a very, very serious long-term decision about my health and welfare, which I'm making. But in order to do that, I got to make a sacrifice right now for these next 5 months. Intellectually, that sounds like something absolutely you're supposed to do. Emotionally, that's a little bit more difficult. But there's no question in my mind I've got to do that. So Dr. DeCenzo also kind of recognized that I was fine with, do I have to step down? What's going to happen? I'm just going to head coaches. And what he did was he offered me a medical sabbatical. So that gave me the opportunity to kind of do what I need to do for the next few months. I checked with the doctor. They said, that should be good. You should be good. And at the end of 5 months, you're really quite confident, 100%, it's hard to say 100%, but you really, truly believe everything's good, ready to go. And that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's one. Two, with regard to the program, Jamie will take over as interim head coach. His responsibility, where it becomes a little bit difficult, is because his priority's got to be, I'm very, very aware kind of what everybody's job is. His priority's got to be, especially the first season of coordinator, he's got to make sure he takes care of that. Now, George is phenomenal when it comes to all the operation stuff. So whereas George could kind of do it on his own and just check with me, George doesn't need Jamie to tell him what we should be doing when we're traveling on a plane. So a lot of those things really, some things Jamie doesn't need to worry about. That allows him to 100% worry about the football, the season, the program, that type of thing, and not worry about any of the other stuff because he's got George, and the two of them provide great leadership as far as the program goes. I have 100% confidence in the entire staff, and I've told the staff, by the way, I did not tell them this till late yesterday, and I told the staff that they have 100% discretion to do whatever they believe they need to do. There's only one thing they cannot do, they cannot change, that is sacrosanct, and that is you don't change BAM, you don't change life after football, you don't change our philosophy, you don't change our processes. Those are our competitive advantages, and we need to be able to have those because that's what differentiates ourselves from others. Now, part of the reason why Jamie came here is because he believed in that, and my staff believes in that. So they're not going to change that anyway, but we're not going to change that. So bottom line is Jamie's the interim head coach. George doesn't have any different responsibility than he's always had, but Jamie can rely on him without question so he can really focus on what he needs to do. Now, I just told the coaches this was not an easy session that I just had with the team. Everybody's kind of still processing this. The kids are talking to play, and because of this, the coaches are going to have meetings with them tonight. I'm going to ask you, please do me a favor, and while they're all probably, give them till tomorrow morning before you start asking them questions. Leave the rest of the staff and the players alone for today to allow them to get a good night's sleep, kind of process what's going on, and then tomorrow, handle it however way you always would, but not so much tonight. I'd ask you just please to do me that favor. With regard to my situation, exactly what I'm going to be, this doesn't affect my job as chairman of athletics. It doesn't affect my job as chair of TD Ameritrade, but 98% of my effort, obviously, is going into what's going on with the team. And what it's doing is give me a break from being 5 months in an allergen environment without a day off, under a lot of stress, probably not getting much sleep, and I'm probably not eating well. So it's a perfect time to be able to do this because it wouldn't be good to add those types of 5 months onto the problem I've already got. I'm not moving. I'm in South Carolina. I 100% expect to be back and continue my coaching career when the season is over. I truly believe that. My doctors are confident that's all going to happen. And I'm going to be around. Now, emotionally, it's going to be very, very difficult for me to, I'm not going to go to practice. If I do, it's just kind of say hi. The coaches know I'm available. I'll probably meet with Jamie maybe every couple of weeks, George maybe every couple of weeks, something along those lines. But I'm going to stay out of their way. I'll come into the office, but I'm not to check on them, to kind of get caught up on stuff. So the bottom line is I'm around. I'm available. You guys can still talk to me anytime you want to over the span of the season. Will I be? No.
No.
No. I need to break it hard or early on. And maybe I'll be okay later on, but if I had trouble getting through our meeting just now.
You look fine.
I'm in good shape, and I am, really am. And when I showed up here, I was in good shape. But that was through the period where everybody's hating me and throwing bananas and stuff at me, spitting at me. And by the end of that season, I was in crappy shape. I've been pretty crappy shape the last 3 years, but I'm in as good shape as it was back then, and nobody's spitting and throwing crap at me anymore. So, no, I feel good. I feel good.
So, Coach, where are you going to live? Are you not going to live?
No, I'm living here. I'm living here. Yeah, yeah. Live where I always live, yeah. No, I made that point, though. No, I'm not moving. I'm here.
You have to. You're going to make an attempt to stay out of an allergen environment, right? I mean, so away from grass.
Just no. Now, the guy that I'm working with, my guy, he's a practical guy. He understands my job. Hey, thanks for coming, Mark. He understands the job. He understands all those things. And he just said, this is not so bad, but you didn't take care of it in the beginning, and it's getting progressively worse, and the outcome could be very serious. The problem is, you're not just in an allergen environment. You're doing an allergen environment for 5 months with a lot of stress and a lot of time running around there. Guess, wherever you go, you're going to have some sort of allergies. That's not the end of the world. But you got to make sure you kind of get this taken care of. So, I mean, I'm not going to live my life differently. I'm going to live my life, try to be a little more healthy. But I'm not going to have the stress of the season for the 5 months while I kick this. Okay?
Coach, I know your health is very important. Is it a little tough stepping away now, especially kind of where the program is heading here this season?
I said I wasn't going to coach this year. We didn't have the stadium built. That's a joke. Okay. Yeah, it's tough. But I don't know if one season would have been tougher than another season. Would this have been easier for me any other season? I don't think so. It's an exciting time. The stadium's going up, the Sun Belt. We got to start to prove ourselves there. I understand that. But if you said to me, pick a season, I don't know if I could pick one season over another. Just this is the time with this is the situation.
In retrospect, does this make the hiring of Jamie that much more important?
I'd like to think, I don't know if it's retrospect, Alan. I like to think, one of the things I've said to you that I do better, I think, than most. My job is to hire the right people. That's why I won't hesitate to let somebody go. If they do a good job, I will help them get other jobs. If they're not doing a good job, besides letting them go, I'd also encourage them to get other jobs. But I have a portfolio of coaches that I stay on top of on an annual basis. You notice when we've had an opening, I get that filled very, very quickly. That doesn't happen most of the time. And I'm not doing it with my buddies. So Jamie and I have been talking for 2 years. Thank you. Jamie and I have been talking for 2 years. So he's hired because he's got experience. I have a lot of belief in him and confidence in him. And I think he's an excellent coach. And as we said last spring, if I were to step down or something were to happen, he would 100% be a great candidate for that job. So do I feel good that we've got him around? Absolutely. I feel great about that. But that's kind of the job. That's my job anyway. By the way, if I stepped down and I didn't have the right person, I would not feel good about that. That's on me. I would not have lived up to my responsibility to make sure I've got the right guy in the right place. So the answer is, I'm delighted Jamie's here. By the way, that makes the decision a little less painful for me, knowing I've got the right guy. But I feel that about Jamie. I feel that about George. I feel that about the staff.
We got his being Jamie's take on y'all being picked 12th in the Sun Belt. Kind of what are your thoughts on that?
Let's look at the previous 4 years. Every year, we have a ton of preseason picks for all conference. Almost every year, we're picked to be number one in the conference. Why? Because we did a pretty good job the year before, and it was really a compliment. So every time we come in here in August, I go through that. Guys, hey, this is nice, but let me explain what it means. It's got nothing to do with what you do this season. It's got everything with what you did last year. Now, do I feel bad? No, those guys don't know us. And if I don't know them, I'm not going to vote for one of their guys ahead of my guys or somebody else that I do know. So we're not going to get any votes, period. All right? So when you're picking the team, why would I vote for the team? I don't know. I'm going to pick other teams. So for the same reason why becoming preseason selections is a pattern that is from the previous year. It's got nothing to do with the following season. I think my guys always responded well to that. I think I brought that up today. I think the guys responded well to that. They don't know us. That's the case. You want to make all conference? You want to do well? You want to make noise? do it on the field, like you'd have to do any year, any time. So that's not a problem or an issue. In fact, it's not so bad. I'd like to see a year or two from now we talk about, you remember that very, very first season where we started here and where we are today, that type of thing. That's kind of what happened, at the FCS, back a few years ago. Did I answer all your questions? Now, give me 1 second just to make sure, because I don't usually come in here with notes for you guys, but I wanted to just make sure that guys, I think that's it. Again, by the way, this question has come up, so maybe we'll throw it at you so you have the answer to it. How many other coaches do you think would have done this? I know Krzyzewski's done something like this. I know Bruce Arians with the Chiefs, said he should have done something like this, or he was going to. I think Steve Kerr, did something like this. But the reality is, no, I don't think many. I think Urban Meyer took a break when things weren't going, just when he was on top of the world. Tom Osborne stepped down after he won 3 out of 4 national championships, not because he was sick, just because he thought it was time to kind of take a break. But I recognize that almost no other coaches would do this. By the same token, I don't do things like other coaches. Our philosophy and our process are not like other coaches. Our bandman at LAF is not like other coaches, and I'm not like other coaches. To me, making a smart long-term decision and making near-term sacrifice are the types of decisions you're supposed to do. They are the BAM things. You take responsibility for yourself. You do what you believe is right. That's what I'm doing here. And the fact that other people wouldn't do it has no impact on me whatsoever. All right?
Sounds good.
All right, guys. And again, like I said, if you have questions on me during the season or anytime, I will answer those questions. Now, don't ask me, how do you think, what do you think of that call? I won't answer that question. All right?